Hey everyone, Future Blaine here. Just to chime in quick before the start of this podcast, we do dive into some controversial topics. I want to give that disclaimer before you actually hear the disclaimer. So just be warned, we do talk about somewhat opinionated controversies and some things like that. Definitely some more political things. We don't claim to be a political podcast. That's not what we're about, but we do want to be a safe space for people to express their opinions and thoughts. Otherwise, I wouldn't be in the podcast position that I'm in right now. Just know, please do your research, back up your research with credible articles, and please enjoy the show.
Ghosts in Us contains serious and sometimes disturbing events and is not suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
It had the crying boy painting.
Her imaginary friend as a kid was a demon.
I looked that thing in its eyes and it changed me forever.
I absolutely believe it was like a demonic presence.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Ghosts in Us podcast. Today, I am joined by my co-host who loves the ghosts. I got Taylor, and we have a special guest on the show, Heather Woodward, award-winning psychic, author. What is all your accolades, Heather? It's award-winning clairvoyant, psychic, medium, channeler, life coach, and crystal healing practitioner. Is that all of them?
Maybe. Yeah, sure. I've been doing this for a long time, and I always forget which bio everybody has. And then I was like, oh yeah, I do that because I've been doing this for way too long.
Like I told you, I got a bunch of notes on my phone right here, so I'm just like trying to make sure I get everything correct. But yeah, so thank you for wanting to be on the show. You had emailed us, and we obviously jump at anybody who wants to be on the show. So your podcast, Envious Aliens, sorry, pardon me. You cover everything. You cover conspiracies, true crime, paranormal, cryptids, alien, all of it.
Yeah, I'm it's whatever I'm into at the moment. That's kind of how I've done my podcast. I started doing podcasting. I've had 3 or 4 different podcasts. I've done podcasting since, 2006, 2007. And it started out as doing just readings online because that was like a really big thing back in like the day. And then I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to talk about things that I want to talk about with kind of like a psychic bent to it. So even when I do true crime, I go to the places, or I try to go to the places and do some kind of psychic research that goes along with the physical research. Or I'll do a tarot reading on it to kind of see what the energy is of the place. Or I always try to like do something a little bit different. But right now, the conspiracy theory thing is really big in my brain. So I've been doing a lot of that lately. But yeah,
I had the opportunity to I haven't listened to all of them, but I listened to a couple, and you brand yourself as doing deep dive work. Does that include doing your own research along with that psychic like trip or travel, or do you just like kind of let the spirits commune with you?
So I'm very much about research, very much. I have a writing background, so everything is about research. So usually what happens is I'm really focused on something. I'm really interested in something, and then I start to research it, and then I'm like, oh, there's something here to this. And then that's when I take it to the other place. But I always do research first, always. And I've written 5 books. So like everything is about research, just like a little bit too much. It's a little kind of obnoxious how much research I do.
I want to ask, how did you know this is the path you wanted to take?
Funny story. So I thought I was going to like go the traditional path. I had like a really good uh, job. I had all the benefits. I got raises every 6 months. I was in a small company. I pretty much ran that place. I wasn't the manager of the offices, but I was pretty close. And it just was not working for me. I was married. I was doing the traditional thing everybody else does. And I had it in my head. I think I want to be a psychic for a living. And I couldn't get out of my head. And so I'm like, I'm just going to try it out. So I got a divorce, left my job, moved to a different state. Yeah.
Full fresh start.
It's sad rising.
So
like, let's balls of the wall do it.
wow.
Yeah. And then I did it. And I was like, okay, you got to give me a sign, universe, because like I just left I left everything. I'm not joking, like everything. I actually let my husband pack up our apartment because I just left. And I bought a book at the bookstore, and it had this bookmark, and it said, "Do you want to be a writer, a paranormal writer? You want to be a paranormal investigator, kind of thing?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, I've been doing this my whole life. Of course I do." And so I wrote a query from that bookmark, and I wrote my first 2 books from that. And then I was like, well, okay, I got the book contract. That's cool. Now I got to make money at it. And so I started doing the psychic hotlines and got really good at it and made way too much money. And I was like, okay, there's something to this. Like, I'm making more doing this. And then I got clients on top of that. I said, I'm making more doing this than I ever made in a corporate job. And so I've just been doing it ever since. Like people laugh, but like I bought my house with psychic money by myself.
That's
like,
awesome,
wow.
though.
Yeah.
When did you realize that you had like psychic like abilities? Was it a young age, or did you find out? I know some people tend to find out around puberty.
Everybody in my family is psychic. So there's and when I'm not joking, everybody in my family is psychic. It's just kind of something that we do. And we're all very moody. We're all very emotional. We're all very like, I don't know. It's I didn't realize that it wasn't a normal thing until later on in life when I got out on my own and started talking to people. And I'm like, wait a minute, your whole family doesn't like just know the future. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of not talking in my family sometimes where we're all just like side-eyeing because we know what's going on when we talk to people, or we're like having conversations by ourselves because we can just read people so well. And I didn't realize that wasn't a thing. The other thing too was my dad. He was not a normal dad. He used to take us like Bigfoot hunting. Like that was his thing. Like when I was 12 years old, he gave me I don't know what they're called, but they gave me all the books that were like the unknown books. They had like these black covers. I think they were National Geographic or something. One of the first books he gave me was a book on the pyramid on Mars. So to read at 12, I'm in 6th grade. And he's like, here, this is a little book you can read. So I always thought everybody was psychic and everybody was into this stuff. And then somebody had to sit me down and say, no, this is
that's not how this works.
Right.
I love that your dad was encouraging of it, though. Like your whole family is.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird. I'm not gonna lie. Like bringing people into the family is okay. You're gonna have to kind of deal with this. I'm sorry, my mom is going to read you for filth. She's not going to say anything to you. She's just going to stare at you, and it's going to make you really nervous. It's because she's reading you to see what kind of shenanigans you're up to. So just roll with it. She is that. So, yeah.
Wow. So you said that you like to cover things that you're interested at the moment. You are tapping into more conspiracy theory essence type things, but it still deals with the true crime. I noticed because you just did an episode about the Gabby Petito case. I think that was one of your more recent
Yeah.
ones.
That was just
But you
last month.
also shifted back to doing an episode about haunted dolls with Patty Negri.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
what kind of, how do you go about picking your topics for your show? Like let's talk about Envious Alien for a second. Like how do you go about like, all right, this is what I want to talk about this time. Let's just do it.
Okay, so the thing with this is how it works. Okay, so the thing with Gabby Petito was like a whole thing. It's a okay. I'll talk like you have to listen to the anybody who wants to listen. You have to listen to the episode. But basically, what happened was 5 years ago. So I used to teach psychic development, and so we used to do a lot of true crime cases. Like I would give my people a true crime case, and then they would have to figure out what happened in it. And that was like part of learning how to be psychic, is to trust your intuition and like look at a picture or look at a situation and figure it out, right? So we did something on Gabby Petito when it first came out. And I was really interested in that case. Like there was something about her that like I resonated with her so strong. But then I looked at her astrology. We're both Pisces, so like we're both in the same energy, right? Her birthday's like 2 or 3 days before mine, and I was like, oh, okay. So like I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the energy, the vibe, and so like I really followed that case. And when Brian Landry, when he ran away, and the police are looking for him, like I immediately knew he was dead. Like I knew that he was going to get killed or something was going to happen around his death. But then that was just my psychic inclination. So I sent it to my people and I'm like, hey, let's do a reading on this. And everybody thought he was alive, like across the board. I was the only person that said that he was probably dead. And all this information came out. And then 3 days later, they found him, or 3 or 4 days later, they found him that same week. And they said that he was dead. And I was so confused by it. So confused because I'm like, we had 8 people on that video call, 8 psychics. These are people that do this for a living. Like, not all of them can be wrong. What is going on here?
To be fair, not all of them were wrong because you were the one who was right.
Well, yeah, but like that doesn't count to me.
Okay.
Because just because I picked up on it doesn't mean anything, right? Because I mean, I know how these things go, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna go kill himself. That's like I knew it right away. I'm like, they're not gonna find him. This is ridiculous. He's dead. And it's weird because his parents found him. They knew exactly where he was, and I thought that was a little weird. So 5 years go by, and the reason why I even talked about that case is because this has been haunting me for 5 years. Like, how did everybody get it wrong? Like, what's going on here? I watched the Gabby Petito Netflix documentary, and there's a new theory on TikTok right now. It's still going on. And it was really, really strong, like 2 months ago.
Okay.
That Brian Laundrie didn't commit suicide. That the reason why his family found him is because they hauled him off to Canada, right? And everybody's like, Brian Laundrie isn't dead. He's not. There's no way. I watched the Netflix documentary. There's no way. And it was just gaining traction. And I sat there and I went, what if all these psychics were seeing the future, not the present? I was tapping into the present, obviously. But what if they weren't? What if they were just reading the energy of the case? And if you're reading the energy of the case, it's not going to be the present. It could be any time. If time is circular, we could be picking up at any point.
So the theory is that he faked his death?
Yeah, there's talk about it. There's a huge talk that he faked his death and went north, which would be Canada. And that's the reason why his family found him, is because they knew where to look, because they had already decided that's what was going to happen. And you can I think they got him by dental records because his body was so deteriorated, but that's easy to fake if you wanted to.
Yeah. So now, okay, so I
And
could see
DNA,
how.
right? Same DNA because they're family. That's not hard. It could be somebody else in their family. You can plant bones. There's all these things, right?
Right.
People
I won't say that's the case, but I have seen cases quite similar where it's just like the people put on an act to
Yep.
like sell the story just to like get the scent off of them. So like I
Yeah.
get it. I understand.
And then Gabby Petito's mom came out on a podcast and said that he didn't kill himself, that the parents had something to do with it. And then that just cinched the deal for a lot of people. So the reason why I went back to that case and talked about it is because I was like, okay, what is the nature of time and what is the nature of psychic abilities? Because very much what was being said from this Netflix documentary is exactly what I got on that call with my people. And I was like, so wait, were they reading present or were they reading the future? Because if they were reading it today, like, okay, if I were to give those people the same thing today, they would tell me exactly what they told me 5 years ago. It matches.
That's
and that
crazy.
threw me off. Yeah. And that's why I did that episode, is because I was like, what is the nature of time? How do psychic abilities really work? Are we tapping into the past, present, or future? We don't know. We don't know. And so technically my people were right.
That's
like that.
weird. That
Yeah, I
sounds a
never
lot
thought-
like the Stephen Avery documentary though, like on Netflix.
Which one? Oh, yeah. Making a murder, whatever it's called.
So like there's a lot of similarities in that where people are saying that he's innocent and that his brothers had something to do with it, or and we'll never know. I mean, I don't know. I have my feelings about it. I won't share it because I don't want to spark a debate right now. But like growing up so close to that area, I get invested into that kind of stuff, and it's just fascinating
when
what
it's in
comes
your
up.
hometown, it's like
Yeah.
you have to know about it.
Yeah, and I'm notorious for wanting to know a lot of things about creepy, macabre, and all the other crap of my home state. Taylor knows.
Of course. I mean, that's where when I did the West Memphis 3, there was, again, a very personal reason for that. I'm around the same age as Damien Eccles. I think we're 1 year apart. And I was a goth kid around that time. So to see somebody, and I'm a witch, so to see somebody who's into witchcraft, Wicca, which is like the most boring to me, witchcraft, it's very traditional. So I'm like, whatever. But like to see a Wiccan go to prison for a crime that he clearly did not commit because of satanic panic. I lived in California at the time, but I could see myself being him, because if I was in a state like Arkansas, the way that I used to be, I would be totally pointed as a Satanist. Even in California where I lived, it was looked down upon, where I ended up going to the principal's office like every other week because, oh my God, you wear a dog collar. Oh, you're wearing fishnets. You're wearing this, you're wearing that. So like my parents were like, look, either kick her out of the school or stop bringing me up here. I don't care what she wears. So it was like a big deal in the 90s because of this. And that was California, which is pretty liberal. So I got really, really into that case because of that. And then once I started going down that rabbit hole, I live 6 hours away from the kill site. So of course I had to drive there. I'm like, okay, I just want to see what it's like there. Like where is this place? Who are these people? What is it like? And so I drove down there, and I was very surprised that this kill site was in the middle of a neighborhood. Like it looks like my neighborhood, and it kind of freaked me out a little bit. Because it was out in the middle of the open. It's like, so my house right now, I live on a hill, and I have a 2-story house. And if you look out my windows, you can look out into the forest. like my property line is on the forest. And I was thinking, because that's what happened with them, is they were killed in the forest right outside of this housing area. And I thought about it and I was like, someone could kill somebody in the forest right behind my house and I would not even know it. I would not even know it, because there's wolves and there's tons of deer back there, and they make all kinds of noise all night, and you hear screaming because of the wolves and the coyotes and all the stuff out there. I would not think twice of it. You could totally kill people back there, and I would be like, whatever, not hear it, not see it. And that freaked me out, that there's literally a house, like no joke. I mean, it's a little different now. This was a couple years ago, but it was a little different in the 90s. But no joke, there's a house within 500 feet from where these people were killed, these kids. And it was there back then too.
Oh, geez.
And that just, yeah. And it just, that one has a lot of residual energy though, because I walked right up to it. It's different now, and the pipe that used to be there that the kids traveled over is not the same pipe, but I was looking for it and I walked right up to it, and the person that I was with was like, you're standing in front of it, and I'm like, I can't see it, and he's like, because you're short, and the tree line was above me, and he's like, you're standing right next to it. I'm like, no, I'm not. And he's like pushing open the forest for me, and he's like, you're right, it's right there. And I was like, whoa, okay, the energy is really strong if I just walked up to it. That was a very strange experience, and I audio documented the whole thing, and it's on the podcast.
That's
but
cool.
I mean, I did write about it too in one of my books. So that took me so long. I did an outline from the time that the kids were missing up until the West Memphis 3 got out of prison. And so I had like books open and all these tabs open, and I was reading all these things because I had to put together a timeline, that lasted 25 years. And so, I put a lot of effort into that one just because I felt like it needed some due diligence,
Mm-hmm.
That one, again, the reason why I even picked that case is because it was personal to me. It was very like, wow, that could have been me. Literally, that could have been me. If, it's basically luck of the draw.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry, Taylor, you look like you're about to say something.
I was going to say two things. One, I like that we have someone on the podcast that also is like really into true crime. And then the second thing I wanted to ask, do you remember like your first experience that like really affected you of the psychic or paranormal or this or that?
That affected me, like scared me?
Either scared you or just like sit with you long enough that like you'll always remember it.
Yeah, there's a couple. I'm really fearless though, and people don't like investigating with me because of it. I'm not Zach Baggins aggressive, not like that. But I'm definitely I'm definitely not afraid of the paranormal.
Yeah.
And so like one time we were at this place in the outskirts, or literally in the middle of the desert, out of the middle of nowhere. Like we had to walk 30 minutes to this place, and it's literally, there's nothing. Like it's called Brucknell's Cabin. You can look it up. The coordinates are online if you ever want to go there. And it's not on private property, so anybody can go there, and it's very haunted. But anyway, we went there. I took some people with me, and something was throwing rocks at us and making noises. So dumb me, I'm like, well, now we have to figure out what it is. So I'm walking toward the rocks as they're being thrown to me. People are like, don't do that. Don't do that. You're going to get hit. And I'm like, well, I'd rather get hit and know what it is than sit here and be afraid of it. So things don't really scare me like that. Mm-hmm. Or I'll talk and I'll say, okay, well, why are you throwing rocks at me? Like, what do we need to know? Like, you don't have to be afraid. We're cool. Like, you can stop throwing the rocks. Couldn't figure out what it was. We did see a shadow though. That was really weird, like an Indian shadow. But I don't think it was there throwing rocks at us. I think it was there just kind of as a protection thing. But there's only one time that I was really kind of freaked out. Yeah, it's because something rushed at me. I was in this haunted, I think it was a sanitarium or a sanatorium. I can't remember. It's one with the crazy people. I don't know. Anyway, they didn't tell us that it was called Wolf Manor. It was in California, and we got invited because they used to do a live stream. So they had cameras everywhere in that place, and there was somebody with a camera. They used to follow you around, and so we did it. And beforehand, they show you the place because there's a basement that's really creepy, that has a little girl in it, and then there's three flights. So they want to, and there's no lights in that place. So they give you a tour beforehand, before the video goes on, so that way you know where you're going, so you don't trip or fall. So I was going upstairs to the third floor, and place is really haunted, and I was like, okay, there's just a lot going on here. And I was walking upstairs, and I literally felt something rush at me, and I dropped, and I almost passed out on the stairs and rolled down the stairs. Luckily, I caught myself I held onto the banister as I fell.
Jeez Louise.
And I went like that, like almost screamed. Everyone was like, oh my God, because I'm the one that's not fearful, right? And so I'm sitting there, and I'm like, what the hell was that? And the guy that was doing the tour was like, what do you mean? I'm like, what is going on the third floor? Like, what is it? And he's like, I don't understand. And I'm like, literally somebody with some glasses and some crazy eyes just ran at me and tried to like push me. I have really good defenses, and the way that my body decided to not let him do that was to like close down. It just shut down. So passing out was my defense basically, but I caught myself doing it. And I didn't know if I wanted to go on the third floor after that, because I was like, what is that? And he's like, oh, that's where they had all the people that were like murderers. They were all the really aggressive people. Those were the people that we kept away from the general population.
Holy shit.
They had problems. And I was like, well, you might have wanted to said something before I was walking up the stairs, because I was not prepared for that. And the guy was like, well, most people who come here aren't really that psychic. And I was like, okay, well, I am. And that was kind of rude. You can't do that. Like, you have to give me some warning. And I was like, who is that then, with the guy with the glasses and the short hair? And I described him, and he's like, oh, we know who that is. That's a spirit that taunts people up on the third floor. And we don't know his name, but we know that he murdered a bunch of people here. And I was like, great.
I feel like if a place has spirits that are a little bit aggressive or touchy and all that, people should be given a warning, just so, like, just say like, oh, be careful up there. It might get a little crazy or something.
For real.
Yeah, they didn't. They want us to go in blind to kind of see what happened. But like, the place was really easy to read because they took you down to the basement, and I forgot the name of the little girl, but I was like, I think her name was Molly. That's the name that's coming up right now, but I don't know if that was her real name. But anyways, I was like, who is this girl that's running around in the basement, and her name is this? And the guy just went, what? And I'm like, did I make something up? Like, what's going on? He's like, we don't tell people about that. And I was like, how do you not tell people about that? She's running around, like. And they're like, no other psychic has picked up on that. And I was just like, okay, I don't know what to tell you, but
I
like,
think they were hesitant on, like, because there's a lot of people who claim to be psychics and mediums and all the other thing, and they're just like, there's a lot of bullshitters out here. We gotta test the waters. And when you're pulling shit out like that, and they're like, oh, it's, that's how you show you're the real deal,
Yeah, that was the only place. So that was the only place that I really was kind of freaked out. I was like, okay, this is going to be quite interesting tonight. Like, and it was the yeah, that was the one place where I was like, I don't know about this. I think I want out. Like, I don't know about this, but it was a good night. It just, that was so long ago, but it still kind of freaks me out. Like I talk about it and I'm like, oh, like I've never been hit so hard by a spirit
Oh yeah,
before.
when something lives rent free in your head like that,
Yeah.
it's gonna
I actually have another question for you. Have you ever experienced like you're in a situation and the energy in that situation is just so much like there's I don't know how to explain it. Blaine, so what I'm trying to talk about is my experience at Glen Beulah and how I talked about the doll room there.
Oh, and how you described it as like a haunted
fog.
house, a big fog kind of
Fog
like smoke
machine.
machine. Yeah.
And it follows you, but like, okay, so there's this room at this haunted school that had a bunch of dolls in it, and the dolls supposedly have attachments to it. But every time I go in there and I would go into a certain part of the room, it felt like there is so many different personalities and energies that don't mix with me, and it almost feels suffocating. And like I have to leave, like I can't handle it, and I have to get out of the building because it feels like fog following me out, and then it just like dissipates. But my question is like, have you ever had an experience where the energy is just so much where you just have to leave, or like how do you deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, if you're feeling it that strongly, I mean, just for you specifically, then you do have some psychic abilities. I mean, you're doing it. So, the fact, no, the fact
Your
that
Raycon is high, Taylor.
Yeah, the fact that you're picking up on different personalities means that you're paying attention and you're listening. So you probably have clear audience, I bet you. Because you're feeling it. You probably have clairsentience because you're feeling it, but you're also hearing it and kind of sensing it. And clear audience, even though it's clear hearing, that doesn't mean that you hear it. It means that you just pay attention to it, and you feel the personalities or hear the personality. So it doesn't actually have to be sound.
I'm pretty sure that's what my mom was, because I know my mom had some kind of like psychicness. My mom and dad would always talk about it to me all the time, and I always felt like the white sheep of the black sheep family, because like my brother has like this weird connection, my dad and my mom do, and I want to try to channel, but I just never know how to like bring it out. I never know how to like really throw myself into the situation.
There are people who can help you channel that, Taylor. You know that, right? Like there are people who like help you open that third eye.
Yeah, I know. I just haven't really looked into it.
I know some people who know some people.
Yeah. No, I think you're already doing it, though. I think you just don't realize it. Because, like, if you're going into a place with a bunch of mounted dolls, mounted just means it has a spirit in it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're picking up personalities and you're like, I want to get out of here. It just means that they're all trying to talk to you at once. And that's what the fog is. The fog is them trying to chatter. And you're like, it's like a radio frequency. You're like, I can't pick it up. So I got to get out of here, because you're like not focusing on one channel or the other channel. So it feels like a big fog. It feels like it can almost give you a panic attack. You know what I mean?
Every time I went in that room and I would try to sit there and do like take it in and do our investigation, I would break down in tears.
Yeah, it's because you're overwhelmed. You're overstimulated. Your psychic senses are being overwhelmed, overstimulated, because you don't know how to focus on a channel. So what I would suggest to you is maybe try to go in there for 5 minutes if you can. And instead of being afraid of it, like go in with focus and say, okay, I can only hear you one at a time. So you guys need to get in a line, and I'm going to listen to one of you, only one of you. So you pick whoever wants to talk to me, and then see how it shows up in your body. Just go for 5 minutes, do 5 minutes at a time. You'll notice if you focus on picking I always call it picking a channel, but it's just being clear, one person at a time. I only want to talk to one of you. You'll depending on what your psychic abilities are, either you'll get sounds, you'll get descriptions, You may hear somebody talking. You may feel something. You might have to touch one of the dolls, and that's how you get your information. But if you focus on that, you won't be so afraid of it because you'll understand what you're getting. And then if other people, other dolls, whatever, try to talk, you tell them to shut up. And you say, one at a time. Can only do one at a time.
Use my teacher voice.
Yeah. And then you'll notice that spirits, entities, they will listen to you because it's either they get their say or you run away. So they want to be heard. And so you kind of use that against them.
Well, thank you for that advice.
Yeah. But you gotta get used to being overwhelmed. You have to get used to it and then say, okay, when I'm overwhelmed and I feel that way, when I feel that fog, as you said, that means that my psychic abilities are on, one, and two, that means somebody is trying to talk to me. So those are my cues. So now I have to figure out how to dial it in and do it in a way that makes me feel comfortable, not them.
I got to really keep that in mind for our next investigation or like future investigations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you are in control. This is your domain. You are in the 3D. They are not. They're somewhere else. We don't know. It's another realm, right? And you are letting them, you're giving them the opportunity to be heard. So you are in control of the narrative.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, once you recognize that, everything changes because you're like, oh, I get to be in charge. Sit down.
All right, Blaine, throw your questions. I just kept taking over.
Oh, you're fine. Taylor, what do you think an interview is?
You know what? I had to sit through like 40 minutes of you and Larry talking tech.
I mean, look at how much Jeff and I just talked about tech too.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But like, okay, I want to circle back to your show. For Envious Alien, is there a case? Is there an episode that you put out that you're like, holy shit, this is my magnum opus. I have the. Obviously, this is going to be, you can toot your own horn here. This is what this question's about. Oh. Is there an episode you're like, holy shit, no one will ever do this topic better than I just did?
No, because I'm not that cool.
I like the humbleness. I can respect that.
I mean, I talk about things that people don't want to talk about. And so I know that people can do it better. I mean, I literally, like, this is my life. So on the other side of this computer, I have tons of paranormal equipment and tons of audio equipment. Okay. Like I can literally put together a studio in like 20 minutes, right? Do I ever use it? No. It sits here just in case. I literally drag around my phone, has a voice recorder on it. That's how I do it. You know, I have tons of Taz cams. I have all the shit, like most people, you know, like all of it. So I got the
quite literally right here's all my stuff.
Yeah, like I could do a full movie with the audio equipment I have here. I just can't. I can't do it. Like I want to be out in the field and I want to like get up at like literally sometimes it's like 1 a.m. and I read an article and I'm like, okay, this is my next podcast. And I'll just get my phone out and start talking. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to run this through a lot of filters to get it to be clean. But that's how I've always done it. And so I know people can do it better, but that's not the point for me. The point for me is just to get it out there and
no, I don't mean in terms of like quality, or like quality of like your production. I mean like in terms of like this is like the research topic I've done. Like this is no other will ever cover this topic.
Oh, I mean, better. No, I mean same thing. Like I research to filth, but that doesn't mean that I know what I'm talking about ever. Like my podcast is literally just my brain. That's kind of how I see it. It's like, what is in my brain? And I'm just going to trauma dump on you, basically. You know, here, have it all. But I think what I'm proud of, though, my friend Stephanie, who does a lot of podcasts with me, like she's my partner in crime. I think some of the stuff that we've done on like Satanic Panic was really good because we took it to a different place. And all the stuff we did on the 7M movement,
I was listening to that one today, actually.
Yeah, we did a lot of research on that one and the NAR and just a crazy ass. Like, once I figured out who the NAR was, and then I was like, the Heritage Foundation is the NAR, holy shit. And then it's like Project 25 is actually the NAR, the Seven Mountain Movement. That's what we're going through. And literally the whole Trump administration is just a bunch of nationalist Christians who are trying to push an agenda and has nothing to do with Trump. Once I realized that, like, who was actually backing his campaign, I was like, oh shit, we're in trouble. Like, not Nazi Germany in trouble, but we're in trouble because this has nothing to do with actual politics. It's an ideology wrapped up in it's a Christian ideology that's wrapped up in a political bow. And really, this is about Christian nationalism. And it even goes so far as to, like, I was watching the Congress did 2 hearings about UAPs and UFOs, and I watched both of them, right? Mm-hmm. And I looked who was on the panel, and I'm like, why are they so interested in UFOs? Because most of them are Christian nationalists, like Loomer, like all of them. There are most, like 90% of the people on that committee are Christian nationalists. I'm like, why would Christian nationalists be interested in UFOs? And then if you go down the rabbit hole and you start really reading the propaganda around the NAR, they need for UFOs to be real because it proves that angels exist. It proves that God could exist. Jesus could exist. He could come back. Because if there are UFOs and there are like other beings, aliens, then it's not a huge leap to go to angels, to other things. And so it actually is a great foundation for them to bring people into Christianity. And that to me scared me. Like, it kept me up at night because I was like, yeah, that's way bigger than what we believe it to be. And the other thing too is I talked to Nick Pope a few times, and I went to a few of his talks, and he used to be part of the British, like, I don't know what it'd be called, but he was basically the British X-Files. And he said the reason why disclosure hasn't happened yet is because there are too many people in power that believe that UFOs are satanic. And so they try to suppress it because they don't want the satanic energy to move into the planet, because then Jesus won't be able to come back, because then the devil will have taken over Earth. And I was like,
wouldn't that give them more reason to believe that the rapture is coming? Because that's what.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Wouldn't that be what their ideology is? Like, I haven't gone to church in years, but I'm pretty sure, like, once Jesus comes back, like, it's time to pack your bags and hope you're selected to go to heaven, right? Like,
well, there's 40,000 years of the devil taking over the planet. After the rapture, there's 40,000 years of the devil taking over the planet, and then Jesus comes in and takes over the planet. So we have this 40,000 year gap that nobody talks about. If you actually read the information from the Heritage Foundation, it's all there, and we're like, what? This is crazy. Like, so the rapture isn't really the rapture. The rapture is just the start. But there's 2 camps. So, like, there's the NAR people, the Heritage Foundation people, that are like, we have to have UFOs because we have to. That's how we're going to get people to believe that Jesus exists. And then there's another camp that's like, no, it's satanic. We need to keep it away. And so that's the fight. That's why there has not been disclosure. And I'm like, this makes no sense to me. This makes no sense to me at all, because, like, and Nick Pope said that 5 years ago. And I recorded it because I was like, I don't think I heard this correctly. But yeah, that's what he said. And I was like, so the reason why we're hiding UFOs is because of some Christians in power that don't want it out. And so that's partly why we don't have it. And this is the kind of stuff that kind of freaks me out, because I'm like, there's all these like underpinnings, all this stuff under the surface that we don't think about because we're not extremists, right? I mean, I dare say I'm gonna call it a cult, because if you really believe that disclosure is so important that it's going to ruin your rapture, that's some really deep, extreme thinking. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and obviously you don't believe in your own faith, because why do you need to intervene? Like, why can't you just trust the process, right? If you really believe in Jesus and you really believe in all that stuff, then you're just gonna trust the process. But they don't. They feel like they have to make sure. And that's probably why this whole Israel thing is happening too, because there's this movie called, I forgot what the movie is called, but anyway, it's in my podcast. There's this movie that was actually banned in the United States, that talks about why Israel is part of this agenda, because for some reason, we have to have Israel in order for the rapture to happen. Yeah, I know. Your faces are like exactly it. There's a so, yeah. I forgot what the movie's called. I can see the picture in my head and I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, it was banned here, and it basically followed a biker gang. That was a biker gang for Jesus that went around and tried to save people. Yeah. And then they started talking, and then it's like, why are these people doing this? And then it went into politicians, and there's a lot of interviews with politicians, and they basically said that we need Israel because Israel is part of the rapture. And if we don't have Israel, then the rapture won't happen. And for some reason, they've decided that America needs Israel. So that's why you hear all this stuff about Gaza and Trump wanting to take over Gaza, and he wants to put a mall or whatever he's doing there. That's all because he has explicit instructions from the Heritage Foundation that they need Israel. So, yeah. And this is not conspiracy theory stuff. I know this sounds fucking crazy. Excuse my language.
That's
but
okay.
This is like literally stuff we pulled off of the Heritage Foundation website, the NAR website. This is stuff that we pulled off the 7M movement. Like, this is not stuff that we had to deep dive go look for. This is stuff that we just started poking around, and I was like, are you sure? This doesn't sound right. And we cross-reference stuff, and yep, it's all legit. Like, I know I sound like a crazy person right now, but this is not the conspiracy theory stuff is wackadoo. This is not even that. This is the actual stuff.
Well, then this would be a good time for me to interject with a disclaimer for people. So I don't want my audience to feel alienated. I don't want anybody to. I encourage people to do their research. I encourage people to go and look into this for themselves, form your own opinion. Remember, this is just one person's. We are we want this podcast to be a safe space for people to come in, express their thoughts, their views, and we can form our own opinions after that.
We are not jamming this stuff down your throat.
This is not an agenda. This is not an agenda podcast. This is we're not going to turn people away just because views might be different. You know, we want people to do their research, and opinions are, everybody has the right to their own opinion. So
this is me being crazy. It's fine. What I would say is go to my podcast. So every link, everything that we look at, we put in the show notes. Mm-hmm. So because we encourage people, we're like, if you don't believe what I said, go and read it yourself. Form your own opinion. If you feel like sending me hate, go ahead. I'm cool with it. As long as you've done your research, and as long as your opinion has something to do with fact, I'm happy to hear about it. If you're just gonna, I get told I talk like a girl, and I'm like, okay.
The only reason my face was always has been confused for the last 5 minutes maybe is because I've never heard of this before. This is all brand new to me. So
that's fine. Yeah, no. Like I said, go to my if you really want to know the information, just go to my podcast, go to the links. Everything is there. Even if like sometimes we write we don't write scripts. What we do is we have a Google Doc and then we put all of our links in there and notes. And a lot of times I just post those too, so you know where we're going and how we got there. And there's always extra links in there. And I don't think people realize how much research I do, because it all sounds very like straightforward and easy when I talk about it. But
you did all the hard work to get that all put together.
Right. Praying for Armageddon. That's the movie. I just remembered. It took me that long to. It's called Praying for Armageddon. It's on. You have to find it. It's really hard to find, but there's a link in my podcast about it. Like my friend told me about it, and I was like, yeah, I was banned in the United States, and to find it online, it was like a bitch. Like I had to like word it a certain way, and like anyway. And she's like, "How did you find it?" I'm like, "Yeah, it took me like an hour, but I found it, and there's a copy online." And yeah, so
sure enough, it's a documentary film.
Yep.
2 years ago, as of this recording.
Yep.
What do you know? Never heard of this.
You gotta watch it. It'll blow your mind. You'll be like, what?
I do love me a good documentary.
Yeah, it's 2 parts. I think it's on the Al Jazeera. It's ALGAEZZRA.com website. Right. That's where I found it. There's 2 45-minute parts, but that one was a little bit, yeah. So that's the crazy that I'm into right now. But then, like I said, I go from that because I'm so curious about why people do things. Like, I'm not just for, if you voted for Trump, great. I don't care. I want to know why. Why did you do that? Like, what was going on in your brain? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to shame you for it. I really just genuinely want to know, like, how did you get there? Like, what was the path that you took?
You're trying to make it for an open discussion is what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
which is good.
Yeah. I have friends who are Trump supporters. I have friends that are super like to the left. And people are like, well, how can you have friends on both sides? I'm like, because they've given me good arguments for both sides. They truly, truly believe whatever they believe. And if you're that convinced, then you've done your research and okay, good for you. You know what I mean? Like that's how I feel about it, because I'm sure there are situations and things that I don't know about and experiences that I haven't experienced that got you to that place. And I think that has always been the backbone of everything that I do. It's curiosity and then finding the answers to that curiosity. Like, why does this happen? Why is this happening? And don't just tell me that it's just happening, because nothing ever just happens. Like, Right. Satanic panic was this huge thing, right, in the 90s. But like, why? Why did it happen? What was the underpinnings of society that made it so people believed that the devil was literally in schools, that people were doing satanic rituals in basements in schools?
Was that because of also the music that was coming out at the time? Like all the rock and roll type music, heavy like metal was becoming a thing, and
yeah, that's part of it.
Also the conspiracies of playing the records backwards. You get the messages, and
it's mostly it's mostly people coming out with books saying that these things happened because they were hypnotized to believe that these things were happening. And a lot of it was because we didn't really understand that there are things called false memories. And so if you're told, well, I mean, this is how they used to do the hypnotherapy. So here's an example. So let's say you're in a basement and there's a bunch of Satanists around you? What would they be wearing? What would be happening to you? So, like, they're giving them they're setting up the scenario, right? And you could say something like, well, they'd all be wearing black robes and there would be an altar in front, and there's going to be snakes there, and the person on the altar is going to be naked, right? So the person would say to them, like, oh, see, look, they're tapping into memories. These are all your old memories that you've been pushing down because of trauma. And I'm like,
goodness.
No, anybody with a really good imagination could create all kinds of scenarios. You give me that prompt, I'll give you a whole story about what happened that never
For real.
happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how a lot of the hypnotherapy sessions were set up. And then those people would go to court and say all these things happened. And then they would investigate them. And they're like, oh, yeah, it was underneath the basement of the high school. And then the high school would have no basement. Or it was underneath this, or it was underneath that, or it was in this cave, and the cave wouldn't exist because they made it up. And so the FBI never, ever found any definitive evidence that any of this stuff was happening. Like, they had like 144,000 cases, and not one of them came back with any actual evidence.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Not one. Yeah. But it's satanic panic was literally just mass hysteria. That's all it was. It was just a mass hysteria that
big old Y2K.
It was, and it's like you can see it now. Anytime I hear "Save the Children," I'm like, oh, it's coming back. Because "Save the Children" was the actual tagline for Satanic Panic.
Yep.
And I hear it all the time now. You know, we had Pizzagate, we had this adrenochrome thing, all these like conspiracy theories. That is just Satanic Panic 2.0.
Yeah, branded
It's
in a different,
it's
just highlighted in a different color or something, you know?
Yeah, and so when I did the Satanic Panic stuff, I was so surprised because I was like, wait a minute. If you go over here to QAnon, that's the same. It's the same thing. It's literally Satanic Panic over again. And I heard it just recently too, which really threw me off. Do you remember the raids in Ventura County? The pot farm that just happened, the ice raids?
No,
Do you know what I'm talking about?
no, I don't know that one right now. No.
Okay. So anyway, there was a raid in Ventura County at this pot farm for ice raid, right? And I used to live in Ventura County. So I was like really interested in it. And I was like, okay, why are they like honing in on this one farm? Because there's farms everywhere there. And there's a ton of immigrants there. And I'm like, why this one in particular? And I looked at it. And Christy Nome had said something about, well, there were 300 children there that were being worked, and we don't know what they were doing to them. And I was like, we're doing it again. We're doing it again. Like, are you kidding me right now? Like, and it comes to find out that there were like 30 kids there. They were 14 to 18. And they had work visas because it's the summer, and they were working there to make extra money. And I was like,
oh my,
that's not the same as what was said. And I actually talked about it on TikTok because I was like, hey, I used to live there, so I can tell you where this was and what the area is like and who lives there, and give some information about it. And like every comment was, save the children. What about the children? What did they do with all the children? And I was like,
hey,
Hi.
sorry, I don't know what just happened. Wouldn't be
Not
a
a podcast.
wouldn't be a Ghost in Us podcast if we didn't have something happen. Hopefully, I didn't lose the first hour of recording. So,
Oh, you know what? Yeah.
it never said it was converting. So I hope that I didn't lose it. I guess we'll find out when this comes out. If not, Heather, we're gonna be probably rebooking another time with you.
okay.
Oh my
Oh, boy.
goodness. This is gonna fingers crossed, knock on wood. Give me all the superstitions from that one episode, Taylor. Give it all.
And knocking on the woods. I don't think I have any more questions to ask.
I don't either, honestly.
I will say once we're done with this, I am instantly sending like your podcast to my dad because everything you're talking about, it's what I hear from my dad all the time. And I'm like, oh my goodness, he would love to sit here and listen to all of this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like I said, it's a little nutty, but I get hate mail all the time too, and I'm always like just read the links. I don't really like.
It's because some people don't want to look into stuff, which they're in their own right to do that, but it's just the nature of the game, unfortunately, that we're the targets because we're bringing it to a light.
Yeah, I get more hate mail around anytime I talk about witchcraft, that's the one thing. Or anytime I talk about ghosts, people like really freak out. And I don't know why.
You brand yourself as a paranormal type podcast and you get hate mail for talking about ghosts?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, pardon my French, but what the fuck?
I don't know.
I've never received a bit of hate mail once. I mean, granted, our channel's called Ghosts in Us, so you kind of know what you're signing up for. But like,
yeah,
it's in the name.
It's in the because it's in the name. Yeah,
I know. I always get the weirdest. Or anytime I mention witchcraft, people are like, "You're of the devil." I'm like, okay, that's quite a leap, but cool.
Boo.
Yeah. So I mean,
holy shit.
I always know so anytime I get hate mail around a topic or anytime people get mad, those are the ones that I boost because I'm like, okay, those are the ones that are going to piss people off. This is great.
That's awesome.
So I've been in the game too long. It doesn't really affect me anymore. I remember my first book, I wrote so now it's really popular to do this, but back when I first wrote my first book, it was like 2006, I think, 2007, somewhere around there. But anyway, it wasn't popular to write your like a memoir, like, hey, I went here and this is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's the kind of book that I want to read because I want to know, like, whenever I read ghost stories, I want to know, like, the person that went there, like, what happened to them, like, did anything happen, right? And I remember my first book, people were like, it's really cool because she put in the history of the place and she put in the ghosts and then she puts the address and the directions so you can actually get there. She's like, but there's just too much of like what actually happened there. And I was like, what? But now people want those kinds of books. So it's, I don't know. I've always been kind of a little ahead of the curve when it comes to stuff so I don't care anymore.
And now it's all mainstream.
Yeah, not back when I started. It wasn't mainstream at all. It was very much like, I just want a book that tells me about the ghost. Don't tell me about you. And now people are like, tell me more about you. And I'm always like, wait, you want to know? Because like,
oh my goodness.
So it's been an interesting ride because like I'm at that place in my life where like I'm in my 50s now. I've been doing this for 30 years. I'm like, I don't care anymore. I just want to do what I want to do and I want to do it for fun. And if you like it, great. And if you don't, then whatever.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Heather, if there's some reason that people are just listening to us and not to you, where can people find you? What are your social media handles? Where can people follow and stay up to date?
Just my website, which is heatherashera.com. That's my professional name. It's ashera.com, or my other website is enviousalien.com. So that's my podcast.
And I will link everything in the description of the YouTube video version, and I will have links in the description for our podcast listeners as well. So people will be able to look into there, click, and be like, whoa, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's awesome. Well, thank you, Heather, for reaching out. It was really nice to talk to you and talk about topics I've never would have thought about looking up. So
Yeah, absolutely.
It's nice to hear different perspectives every once in a while.
Yeah, I'm definitely that. For sure.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Heather. And let's stay in contact. You never know, something might pop up if this recording doesn't work out. And I might have to be like, hey, well, let's reschedule this. Let's get this out, you know?
Yeah.
All right. And thank everybody else for listening to this podcast on your podcast catcher choice. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Follow us on social media at Ghosts and Us everywhere. We are on TikTok, Instagram, X/Twitter, and Facebook. And if you want to be on the show like Heather, all you have to do is email us at ghostsandus@gmail.com. That is the best way to get in contact. Well, that's the best way to get in contact because we both get messages for the email. Sometimes one or the other gets the messages on the DM, depending on the platform. But yeah, DM us, email us, whatever. Come tell us your stories. I want to know more. I want to hear more.
Come bang on our doors and
don't bang on my door.
Boom, boom. Hello.
If you can get into my apartment building, you know what? Yeah,
You're
sure.
worthy.
Bang on my door. I'll let you sit in the haunted chair. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.